Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day, brought to you by FiveMind.com. You know what I've realized this year? I've realized that I want absolutely nothing to do with the libertarian view of non-American interventionalism, as if America should just take a back seat, hide within its borders, and allow the rest of the world to continue to conspire against it or go down a very dangerous path. I realize where that view comes from, of course, following the early 2000s, the George Bush, Dick Cheney era. I understand why it happened, but now, frankly, my mind has been opened. And the first step in that process was Donald Trump reigniting the Monroe Doctrine, which is now considered the Donroe Doctrine. America projecting raw, unabashed strength across the globe, but most especially taking full control and setting a brand new standard across the Western Hemisphere. For far too long, we've let weakness, we've let apology define our foreign policy, and I think that was a truly naive approach. The result was chaos, narco-terror, an increasingly unstable Middle East, third world shitholes essentially exporting crime straight into American streets as well, and now I think we've truly reached a breaking point. Enough is enough. How much more can we tolerate, especially in our backyard? That appears to be the new approach that Pete Hegseth and President Trump are taking, that America has nothing to apologize for, and it's about time that we stop pretending that what's happening south of the border isn't our problem or is even remotely acceptable. This is America's hemisphere, and it's finally time for a standard to start being applied. I gotta show you guys this Pete Hegseth clip. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape.
That is why President Trump has drawn a new strategic map from Greenland to the Gulf of America to the Panama Canal and its surrounding countries. At the Department of War, we call this strategic map the Greater North America. Why? Because every sovereign nation and territory north of the equator, from Greenland to Ecuador and from Alaska to Guyana, is not part of the global South. Each one of these countries border either the North Atlantic or the North Pacific. Each one of these countries sits north of the two basic geographic barriers that exist in this region, the Amazon and the Andes Mountains. This is basic geography that we don't teach in schools as much as we should. And it restores our north-south relations, and we must get it right. In the north, the United States must enhance posture and presence in cooperation with you and our sovereign partners to defend our shared immediate security perimeter. In the south, meaning south of the equator, the other side of this great neighborhood, we will strengthen partnerships through increased burden sharing. This will enable you to take your greater role to defend the South Atlantic and the South Pacific, and to secure critical infrastructure and resources in partnership with us and other Western nations. This is what we did in World War II, just like we sunk ships with torpedoes in World War II. At the Department of War, we called it the quarter sphere defense. And we will do this again.
I hear something like that, this concept of a greater North America, and I don't find that scary. No, I hear stuff like that, and this is what I'm realizing about myself. When it's said so unabashedly, when it's said with such intense intent, I find myself saying, hell to the frickin' yeah. It's a brand new energy. No more half measures. No more Obama-era apologies and retreats, leaving power vacuums for cartels, gangs, socialist failures, or terrorist organizations to take over. We witnessed 8 years of Obama bowing down to the world, apologizing on behalf of America, hoping that the rest of the world would simply come to the table. It'd be a big kumbaya moment. He'd be known as the president who brought the world together. But what happened following that, especially in the Middle East? You saw the growth of ISIS and other terrorist organizations. You saw the explosion of cartel violence and influence at the southern border. That apologetic weakness was an absolute disaster. And I truly believe that absolute strength, not neocon scheming, is the proper correction. And I think right now is the moment to do it, because in a lot of ways, it's already happening in Central and South America. I think what's happening in El Salvador with Nayib Bukele is the perfect, most prime example. In 4 or 5 years, he's turned El Salvador from the murder capital of the world to one of the safest countries on the globe. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what he's been able to accomplish in such a short period of time. There's currently a bunch of photos circulating all over social media showing before and after shots, and it's just, it's almost unbelievable.
I am strong, I am safe, I am enough, I trust myself, I follow my heart, I know my way.
from a gang-controlled hellscape to now clean streets, peace, prosperity, investment coming in, a massive spike in tourism, and a beautification of the streets. You know, there's a wave that's now happening across Central and South America, and I think Trump understands this, and he's now seeing the opportunity to come in and really set a brand new standard. And that's exactly what it is. What are we willing to accept, and what are Southern Latin nations willing to accept? Well, increasingly, you know, it's been difficult to deal with them diplomatically, militarily, but now it's a completely different environment. You got right-wing governments popping up like crazy in the Western Hemisphere, and many of them are finally opening the door to America to come in and help them clean house. Ecuador is the latest nation to join that list.
A new front in the war on drugs. U.S. Special Forces in a joint military operation in Ecuador. Using helicopters, boats, and drones, Ecuador says it destroyed a drug camp near the Colombian border, though locals say it was a farm.
These are narco-terrorist organizations that operate in the region who are using Ecuador as a transit zone.
Local gangs with Mexican cartels turned Ecuador into the world's largest cocaine exporter, according to the FBI, and one of the most violent countries in South America.
They see what Nayib Bukele did. They see what Trump is doing. They understand that crushing the criminal scourge is the only way forward. And it should be the only way forward. It's the only acceptable outcome. It's long freaking overdue. The idea that we accept these criminal hellscapes in such close proximity to us, it's just ridiculous. It's unacceptable. And it's high time that we do something about it, especially when nearly 100,000 people are dying from overdose deaths every single year, when MS-13 and Tren de Aragua and other cartel organizations are setting up shop in American cities. Enough is enough. The era of American retreat is officially over, and now I am fully welcoming, I am embracing the era of American dominance in the Western Hemisphere. It shouldn't be any other way. We shouldn't be fearful for our safety when traveling to any country in the Americas, North, Central, or South. The cartels must be obliterated. An American standard must be enforced. Anything else is simply unacceptable. That's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.